All right, check. No. So I guess we're gonna do it like this. All right. Once again, I hear it too. Check, check. I know what that is. All right, full screen now, and let me see. Are you still hearing two signals? I hear that too. That's weird. I only have one going in. No, I'm not going through OBS right now. So I think the second signal you just heard was the microphone picking up the signal from the headphones. That's the only thing I can guess. All right, so it is 7:30. I started this stream at 7 and I don't know what just happened. It has to be an OBS thing because right now I'm going into the ATEM Mini Pro and I'm streaming straight from that. And as you can tell, there's no audio issues when I do this, meaning that something happened in OBS to turn out like this. Only thing I need to do now is give myself a little bit of headphone levels. Otherwise, I don't hear myself. That sounds really weird. All right, the only difference now is I have to look at a different part of the screen than I normally do. So the reason why there's only a few people in here, I think most people did not wait around for me to solve the issues because 30 minutes is a long time. But I was not going to stream with the way the audio was sounding just now. That's just a no-no. That's no good at all. All right. Still going to stream, though. We here. And let me see. Is Restream is sending Facebook in here now. Restream is sending YouTube in. Okay. Right. So welcome to Share the Knowledge Live, SDK Live. SDK just short for Share the Knowledge. Share the Knowledge is just such a long title. So a lot of times when I'm writing like schedules, I'll write SDK Live, SDK Podcast, but it is all Share the Knowledge. And I can move this out the way. So, yeah, this was one of those perfect examples of the process of elimination. So the audio was bad. I've had that happen once before, and it was a cable issue. So my first thought is, okay, let me try a different channel on the ATEM Mini Pro. Still had that same issue, the noise that we heard. So that was a cable issue, I think. But then you try different things, and you still get that weird sound, and then you get the choppy sound, and that was clearly OBS. Now I can do like a full restart. I could actually just restart my computer now. I just won't be able to see what's happening on screen because without any of that hardware, the ATEM Mini Pro will now stream and I can do my thing. So I might actually just do that and do a total restart. So the stream didn't really go off. I could just turn off streaming in OBS, turn it on in the ATEM Mini Pro. Then I went back to OBS. The audio was still not there. So we're doing it like this. The only thing I see now, and that is not okay, I'm going to fix that now, is that we're looking at crates when we should be looking at share the knowledge. There we go. Cannot have crates in the background when we're doing a share the knowledge live. So I asked for a couple of questions, but I'm not even going to look at those questions yet because I see plenty of questions in the stream. I'm going to change my my window a little bit. I hate looking all the way over there, even though this is probably more logical for you to see me look here. I want to make that chat part a bit bigger. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and then we're going to see a bunch of messages from people. What's going on, Dr. Jeremy, Big T, Edgar? Half of you are probably not even here anymore, and I totally understand why. Jason Joseph, what's going on? Quaston Mark, what's going on? You got Shanae Wells, what's going on? And who else are in here? Sven, I saw Sven before. And who else? Donald Buckingham is going in here. JV or Javi or Javi. Could be any of those. We got what? And we got OG Sumo Vibe. Carlo Moreno. I'm going through all your names, even though you're probably gone, and that's all good. DJ Jump Off, what's up? Adrian Briscoe, DJ Road Dog. Barkle Wall, or Barkle White? No, Wall. Got you. And thanks to all of you for chiming in and asking me questions if I'm doing this or that. Because maybe one of you could have thought of the problem, but most likely this was just an OBS issue. Mafi Christopher, what's going on? OG Sumo Vibe, thanks for following. RC3, what up? Luke, I think that's basic. No, there's more. Ali, what up? Hunter20, what's going on? Yeah. Cobra Roy, what's going on? Andre, what's going on? I think that's a lot of you. Art of PHN. I know I've seen your full name before, I think, but I keep forgetting. So I might have missed some names. We'll make that happen later. Let me see what else is in here. I saw some questions, I think. So you're a graphic designer, illustrator by trade, and 6 months ago in your work, you were fortunate enough to watch a DJ live. Long story short, it looked really fun, and I wanted to try it. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I totally agree. I have a lot of fun doing it as well. Neon B, what up? So that's dope. Well, the thing is, like you say, you feel guilty asking famous DJs simple questions. I mean, you shouldn't feel guilty about that, but the fact is, like, most of the basic information is already available. You can get that online, so you really don't need to ask those questions when you get a chance to speak to a DJ. But, of course, you can. That's not, like, a major issue. See, I wanted to say Oof P again, but I remember it was like official. Damn, what was it again? Official something Philly, right? I forgot. I mean, I saw you Monday. I saw you write it out. I forgot what it is. Love Forever. What's going on? All the way from Nepal. So yeah, again, like a lot of questions can be found online, and I receive a lot of questions in my DM, in my inbox, and a lot of times I see questions that are questions that are easily accessible online. All it takes is one trip to Google and you'll find those answers. So especially if you feel like that you don't want to ask a DJ questions that you feel are basic, then just look them up online. There's so much info available, so many tutorials available. There's so much stuff out there and new stuff coming out every day. But you found my videos and live stream, so that's always a good thing. Good thing. All right. Mac Joseph, what's up? Happy New Year to you. DJ TK, what's going on? Lloyd, what up, Lloyd? Faka. Tim Cook, you have the Pioneer XDJ Aero. Can I be a scratch DJ with that controller? Well, here's the thing. You can do at least basic scratches with almost any controller. So yes, you can scratch with controllers. I have seen controllers, like especially when you get to like really basic controllers, especially from cheaper brands. Sometimes you're dealing with a device that just isn't that good. So for instance, if you have a controller but you're dealing with a lot of latency, meaning you have a delay between doing something on the controller and it actually happening in your DJ software, that's going to make it a lot harder to scratch. So this was years ago, but I remember being in some sort of audio store and they had a controller. Now I'm not going to name the brand, not because I mean, I don't mind saying something about a brand if they have a product that's not good. But this was years ago. This was more in the beginning phase of DJ software and DJ controllers. And this was, I think, like one of their first tries. It was a controller that worked with Virtual DJ. And I remember I'd never used that brand before and Virtual DJ. And I remember actually just like moving the jog wheel forward. And it took like, I don't want to say a second, but it took at least like half a second for the audio in the software to move. So if I'm doing this and now you hear the sound, scratching is not going to be an option. You can't listen to a beat and then scratch on beat, but your sound comes out like half a second late. That's not going to work. But like most controllers with most DJ software will not have latency issues like that. And you should be able to do most of the basic scratches. So for instance, if you look at my scratch tutorial series on YouTube, I think probably most, if not all of the scratches that I do in those tutorials should be able to be done on controllers, most controllers. So give that a try. Don't feel that because you have a controller that it can't work. I know some people will lead you to believe that you need a certain device like turntables to scratch. It's just not true. I mean, yes, you can always do more with turntables when it comes to scratching or something similar to a turntable. For instance, like a Rain 12, which feels a lot like a turntable. You'll get a lot closer to doing a lot of the more advanced techniques. Some of those techniques just won't work well with controllers. So I would never say you can do any scratch on any controller, but you can do a lot. Especially if you're starting out learning how to scratch, you can learn basics on a basic controller. No doubt. Fabrice, what up? Philip Tan, always good to see all of these familiar names. Phil Dixon, if I missed your name just now, what's going on? Question here, will Denon take over the scene? No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, a takeover, so whatever the scene may be. So for instance, in this case, of course, the DJ scene, you will have brands that have a certain position within the scene. So for instance, the Technics SL1200 turntables for the longest time were the club standard. So those were the turntables you wanted to have, even if you started out with something different. If you started out with some Geminis, or in my case, I started out with Technics SL, I think it was 3310 and a 30 something, like belt drive Technics turntables. That was my first step. I was happy to have those, but the 1200s, those were like my goal. Like at a certain point, I want those. Those were the standard. When it comes to the clubs and media players, Pioneer has that top position. Now, will they always keep that top position? That's never guaranteed. And Denon has made some very significant moves to grow within the market. But that is something that would have to continue for multiple years. And at the same time, a brand like Pioneer would have to stand still. If that's the case, at a certain point, you might end up in a time where more people would prefer Denon over Pioneer in this case. If we're talking about the club standard, that's going to take a long, long time. And Denon's initial move was dope. They came out with a device that did not only compete with like the CDJs, it could actually do more. And they came out of the gate with a couple of big DJs who switched from Pioneer to Denon. And they had like the whole slogan, like change your rider, basically trying to promote DJs like, hey, there's like a new player in town, even though Denon's not new, but this is a device you could definitely do your club thing with, and maybe you should switch. But for most people, that's not going to be the case. I talk to DJs like certified good professional DJs here. DJs who started on turntables, who are now using CDJs for all of their gigs. And at a certain point, I was going to just play a couple of tracks at a birthday party for one of my best friends. So I normally don't do birthday parties, but this was like a family type of thing. That other DJ was also going to play. He is part of that family. And I was going to bring some DJ equipment. And at that time, I had the 5000s for like a couple of months. So I was like, okay, I can bring that set with an 1800. And I contacted the DJ just to let him know, like, hey, man, have you tried the Denon stuff yet? No, I hadn't tried that yet. I was like, yo, this is the perfect opportunity. I can bring that set. In my mind, I was like, this is not like some public event. It's not even a club. We're going to be at a house with your family. So it's a totally safe, private environment. In my eyes, that would be the perfect opportunity to try some new gear. He still said no, was like, you know what? That's okay. I'll take care of it and I'll bring a CDJ set. So I know a lot of DJs will have their favorite thing and keep that on lock. Like, okay, this is what I use. And I don't know about all of that other stuff. And fact is, I mean, people will say, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if you found that the Pioneer stuff works for you, you do your gigs the way you want to do your gigs, I can see the mindset of why should I switch? And of course, if you have to like buy the stuff and you have CDJs, which are expensive, you don't want to spend money on something else. But when I look at it from a perspective like, I would at least like to try new stuff. Like when those came out, that was like a CDJ on steroids. I would like to try that out at least. But a lot of DJs are hesitant. But Denon has made great moves. They've come out with incredible standalone players aside from their 5,000 and now 6,000 line with the whole Prime 4, 2, and Go line. So they've definitely stepped up their game, and I can only believe that their market share must have grown. But again, if you want to take over, you would have to take Pioneer from the top spot. They have the clubs on lock, and when it comes to controllers, I don't know the numbers, but I can guess that they're going to be high or at that number one spot or number two. Like they have a good amount of entry level controllers. A step up they have of devices. So yeah, takeovers are not going to happen that easy. All right. Above that, I think there was another question as well. I do have a question. It's my latest issue I've run into. I skipped over this one. I've asked this before, but I don't think I fully laid out the question. It involves beat matching, blending versus dropping on the one. Okay, so I guess the question is going to come later on because I don't see it yet. Okay, here it is. So to me, it sounds so abrupt and not pleasant. So I guess you're talking about dropping it on the one, like you just cut off a song in the middle and suddenly a new song is being played, and it sounds bad to me. I know it can be done because I've seen it done and done well. So here's the thing: when you're talking about dropping it on the one, if you do it correctly, it's not abrupt because you're doing it at the right time with the right timing. So in people's minds, it won't sound weird because they're just following the rhythm of a track. So the the best point to do a transition like that would be if you're playing music with vocals, you would do it after the chorus. So the chorus, the hook comes in, that hook plays. I don't know, like most likely it's going to be an 8 bar hook, but it could be a 4 bar hook, an 8 bar hook. The hook is playing. At the end of the hook, on beat, in time, on the new one, where the new phrase would begin, in this case, for the song, that's where a new verse would start. There, if you bring it in there, and you bring in a track that has a similar tempo, no one's going to be like shocked because the flow is still going. Especially if you bring something in on the one and it's a track that people know, then they lose all interest in thinking about counting. They just heard a great new song, a great song come in that they know, and they're going to be happy. So I've done a lot of dropping it on the one transitions where even if I did it wrong, it would still be right because of the song that I played. But like, it's not that hard to get it technically right on the one. Now, if you do a total genre switch or a total tempo switch on the one, and you're playing a track that's 88 BPM, and then on the one you bring in a track that's 120, yes, that's going to cause a shock, of course. But it's also a matter of flavor. Like if you prefer just to mix, then you should just mostly mix. But just know some tracks are better not to mix and just to bring in on the one. What's the best program or way to transfer your vinyl to digital? And I think you asked that question in either an email or in the DMs, right? Because I took a screenshot of a question like this. And currently, I don't have a way. And before I forget, foul. You know what I mean. People who are here Monday will know what I mean. So basically, what you need is you need a turntable to play your vinyl. Make sure you have a needle that's not worn down. So you have it doesn't have to be brand new, but a needle that is still of good quality so it can get the best possible sound out of that vinyl. Now, also important, your mixer. If you're going to use a crappy mixer that has horrible audio quality, then the quality of the vinyl is not going to be recorded right. So you want to have a mixer that will give you good quality audio. So it starts with the turntable. What type of turntable you use doesn't matter that much. I mean, I prefer a turntable that has a steady motor, steady speed, because you want to make sure it plays correctly. But have a good needle and make sure you have a good mixer. That part needs to be right. If you mess up there, you use an old needle, you use just a not a quality mixer, a cheap mixer with just not good audio, then it doesn't even matter how you record it. You're going to record bad audio. So that is the most important thing right there. And then it's basically a fact. It's just getting that sound into your computer, because that's what most people will do. They'll record on their computer. So you want to get that sound into the computer. Now, again, for the best quality, you want to make sure you have a quality audio interface that can now get that audio, receive that audio from your mixer, and translate that to the computer. So if the audio quality is great on the turntable from the needle to the mixer, and you go into a terrible audio interface, again, you're going to lose quality. So every step within this process will guarantee you great audio, lesser audio, or terrible audio, depending on how good the quality of all of that equipment is. Now, having said that, I know there's also turntables out there that are USB turntables, and those can be connected directly to your computer. So you put your vinyl on that turntable, and the audio will go straight into your computer. I personally have no experience with that. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever actually looked at videos about that to know. So I haven't even checked reviews to hear people talk about that. So I know that's the easiest way, but I don't know how it is quality wise. But that is an option. I mean, you do eliminate a lot of steps because you go straight into your computer. Let me bring myself back here. There we go. It is the easiest way to get into your computer, of course. Going straight through USB, I just don't know how the quality is. So, and then when it comes to recording within your computer, I don't think that matters a lot once you go through all of those steps. So the software, I don't think is the issue. I don't think you're going to get a lot better of a recording with this audio software compared to that audio software. I could be wrong. You could have people like Mixmaster G. I don't think he's here today, but they could be now leaving a comment. Let me know like, this software is better. I'm not that familiar with that. I mean, I probably use Audition now. In the past, I've used Cubase for that as well. I would now use either Audition. That's what I use for audio editing, or Studio One, what I use for recording as well. So one of those two. And then I would have my digital files. And that is something that is on a list, way in the back of a list, because there's a lot of vinyl in here that one day I'll want to transfer, but I've never done it yet. So that is my take on it. So I don't have any specific equipment to name because there's like tons and tons of mixers and audio interfaces that are great. So that's just the most important thing, the quality of the devices. I know not all mixing transitions can be done on every song. I know it's know your music situation. Yes, yes, yes. What circumstances do you look for in a song that tell you I can drop this mix? I can mix this intro into this part of the song. Okay. So the circumstances for me for dropping on the one. So going back to that topic, you've been leaving a lot, and it's good. It's good. I'm going to tell you why this is better than what some people do. For me, most of the times when I'm playing at a party and we're getting to the hype part of the evening, like the energy is really high, I'm less interested in mixing and more interested in dropping the tracks. Not because I don't have time to cue it up and get it ready. I could do that. But a lot of times I don't prefer it because, one, with especially with hip hop and R&B, where if I do a transition, it's only going to be an 8-bar transition at most, sometimes even shorter. So the transition part is not that interesting all of the times, especially when you're just in that hype part. So if it's not necessary, or I feel that the track will have more impact if people hear it from the beginning, I prefer dropping it on the one. Here's the thing, and I've seen this happen like thousands of times. I will mix songs, and I can tell that at least half of the crowd, sometimes even more, are not hearing the new song I'm bringing in. They only hear it once I'm done with the actual mixing part of the transition. Or if I totally switch the EQ so that now you basically hear the new track fully and the old track is all the way in the back. Otherwise, people don't even notice it a lot of times. And I mean, I've seen this a lot, not only when I'm DJing. When I used to go out and go to clubs, I'd be with a lot of people. Some were DJs, and we would always look at each other because we could hear within the first like second of a transition, okay, this track is coming. And then you're with a group of people and you're dancing, and we already told each other like, it's that track. The rest of the people weren't reacting until the transition part was done and the new track actually began. And then people were like, and we're looking like, wow, okay. Next track, same thing. We hear the transition. We hear the blend. We recognize the new song. A lot of people don't. If I have a track and I want to make sure that I get the full impact, I know I'm going to get more of an impact if people hear that new track from the very first count. So dropping it on the one ensures me that they're going to hear every part of the song. Now, of course, we talked about songs that have special intros before. So certain songs, same example as last time, Terror Squad, Lean Back. That's one of those intros. It doesn't really make sense to mix that. You want to hear that from the start. That's the part that gets people hype before the actual drums even come in. So sometimes songs just have an intro that you want to play clean. And a lot of times I just do it to get the full impact instead of blending. Now, with different genres, if you play certain house music where you do like 32 bar transitions and you're really working that audio, slowly changing the EQ up, really blending those tracks, and that is actually really the mixing is part of what people like, different scenario. And if I'm warming up and I'm on not a lower tempo, but a little bit lower energy, and I play songs longer, I will definitely mix more because at that point, it's not that important to get that full impact, and I'll be blending away. But I always notice as soon as it gets more hype and we start to play a little bit faster, like change tracks faster, I mix less. You'll see it during my live streams as well. And especially because I'm playing freestyle, so I don't have mixes prepared. If you have mixes prepared, you can like prepare every transition and do that real quick. You know all of your settings. I'm not into that. I do freestyle. So a lot of times I'll rather spend time going through the crates, finding that new track and then bringing it in instead of spending time to find the track, then queuing it up. I'll have to wait at least another verse because it took that long to do all of those things. That's going to bring the energy back down. So that's how I look at it a lot of times. Let's see. Learn scratching just with one hand, and I shift the current tracks always to the other channel after transitions. Is it worth learning scratching also with the other hand? It's a personal choice. I know DJs who don't even mix on two turntables. So I know, well, DJs, I know at least one DJ who plays everything from one side. So all of the mixing is done from one side, and then he'll just instant double, have the copy on the other side. That's just playing on internal. Load the new track on that same deck and do all of the mixing on one side. That's a choice. Same thing with scratching. I know a lot of DJs will scratch with one hand, and they make sure they always have their scratching record there or there, whatever their side is. And let's say their right hand is the hand that they want to scratch with, and they have that record on the left deck. They'll go for that overhand scratching because they want to use that hand. I prefer to be able to use both hands, even though I'm definitely not skilled with both hands. I can do different scratches with both, but that gives me more freedom because I don't have to worry about, I have to make sure I get this on this deck because I want to do this. So there's an advantage to being able to do things with both hands. But yeah, you will have to start practicing with that other hand if you want to do that. So that's going to mean you have to put in more time. Let's see. Mr. Falk, what up? I often have a problem on some vinyl records. When I back cue at the beginning of the track, it seems that the needle skips backwards quite often. Am I doing something wrong? What could be the case is that you have vinyl that is slightly warped, meaning it's not totally flat, but that is a little bit, oh no, it's still on. That is a little bit, what do you call it? Yeah, warped, so it's not straight. Sometimes when you have that, if you put pressure on one side, the other side will come up, and that could be the cause of your needle skipping. It could be a needle issue. There's a lot of things that could be the cause of that, so I can't really tell without seeing. So maybe you're back queuing too aggressively. If that's the case, maybe instead of just queuing it all the way back, I don't know how long you have to queue back. You're better off lifting the needle and just placing it at the beginning and just cue it forward a little bit. But it's real hard for me to tell. So just one quick thing about the other question, the longer question about dropping it on the one. So Art of PHN dropped a lot of different posts all about the same subject. But all of that information makes it better or easier for me to answer a question. So that's advice for people who have questions, not now in the chat, but I receive a lot of questions where people actually are just super vague, and that doesn't leave me a lot of room to answer. It means that I have to start asking questions. And you have to imagine, a lot of people might not have a lot of time. I know time is very precious, and I love answering questions. But when you get a question and you have to start asking the person questions in order to be able to answer them, that means I have to do a lot of back and forth. I'm not going to go through that. So even today, like for instance, and I will not name names because that's totally not the point of this, what I'm saying here. Let me grab it. Where is it? I received an email today, and it was a question about scratching. All right. So I saw your videos on YouTube. Oh, no, that's not the right one. That's just someone giving me props. Thank you. Oh, come on. Where is it? I didn't delete it, did I? If I can't find it now, I'm going to just sum it up. Okay, no, I don't see it. So I received an email today, and the question basically was, I'm having trouble scratching. Can you help me? That is a very vague question, because now I have to reply, which I won't do. I have to now reply like, hey, what's going on? So tell me, what do you mean when you say you have trouble scratching? Because if someone just asks me, can you help me? I need to know with what. So for instance, if you give me a question like, hey, when I'm queuing back, the record skips, that's very specific. I can handle that. I can like give you examples. Or, hey, do you know the best way to transfer vinyl? Okay, that's pretty clear for me to answer. Or like the question about dropping it on the one, in which situation would you do that? How do you look at that? Those are questions that have been thought out. Someone has a specific question. But when you keep it really broad and vague, a lot of people, so not just if you're asking me questions, but also if you're asking other people questions, try to be more specific, because if it's too broad, chances are people will be like, okay, I'm not going to go into that because that's going to take too much time. Right. What is your favorite track released in 2020? Jochem, great question. I don't think I have an answer. That's tough. I mean, I've gone through a lot of different songs. See, and now I'm at the point. I just wanted to say like, okay, let me just grab a couple that are on my mind right now, and my mind sometimes really blanks because there's so many tracks coming up. I don't think there's one that really stood out to me like, wow, this is the best track of the year. There's not one. Like sometimes you have that, you hear a song, you're like, okay, I don't care what else comes out. This is the one for me right now. If I think of anything during the stream, I will let you know. All right. Oh, I actually see that at least on Twitch, it actually started as a new stream 38 minutes ago. Okay, that's a good thing. So then that first part, that horrible part, the half hour of technical difficulties might not even be in this. Okay, all good. All right, let me continue here. So Jochem, if I think of something, I will let you know. Maybe I'll just take a sneak peek to see some of my likes on Spotify. And I could also cheat and just say like two of my favorite tracks from last year. And the funny thing is, I wouldn't even be lying if I say this, but it sounds kind of weird to say. Two of my favorite tracks from 2020 were actually tracks that I produced. And they were both tracks by Brainpower. One is called Hopeful, one is called Crockett and Tubbs. And like without a doubt, those are tracks that spark a special feeling. And it's not because I produced them, even though it's just great. Like during the few gigs that we did last year in October before the venues totally closed again, we did a lot of the newer songs in the set, and both of those songs were in there. Hearing those songs live in the venues through the big speakers, yeah, that did give me a special feeling. But like those will definitely be some of my favorites, but that's really a personal thing. I'm trying to think beyond that. So if I think of anything, I'll let you know. What up, Rudolph? I see you. How can I get DJs to play my new single? All right. So what I'm going to do here, before I give you my answer, and I honestly, I think I have to think about that, to other DJs in the chat right now, what would make you play an artist, and maybe this is an artist slash DJ, what would make you play someone's single? How do you ever run into this situation, or do you just get all of your music from stores and DJ pools, or does it also happen that DJs or artists try to connect with you to get you to play their songs? I mean, I get a lot of emails and people will send me songs, and either the artist or their label does it. And I mean, I am on a couple of mailing lists, label mailing lists, but a lot of times I get emails from labels I've never heard of before. So they just found my email and sent me the tracks like, hey, this is our artist, and they'll give me a little EPK, some information, and the tracks. And personally, for me, when I get that, because I think it's a good thing to do, because there's always going to be some DJs in here looking for new songs all the times who will check everything. I don't. A lot of times I can just tell, because once I see it and there's a little info and I see that it's, for instance, like genres that I'm not into, then I most likely will skip. If it is a genre that I'm interested in, I don't know if there's a specific thing that would make me play the song, like even listen to the song, just because I don't have a lot of time. So I don't know. I don't have a specific answer for you, how you get DJs to play your track. I mean, you can definitely go check out DJs and find their contact info and just send them, just email them the EPK and the tracks, links to the tracks. I prefer, like, sometimes I get emails from DJs and they'll send me a Spotify link, and I don't get that. Like, if you're contacting a DJ to play your song, at least send the song. So don't just send me a YouTube link to your video and think that that's going to just all out of the blue spark my interest. Like, oh, wow, I have to click on this link. We get tired of clicking on links. We do that all day. So at least make sure you send the actual song. But beyond that, let's see if DJs in the chat will react to that, because I don't have a clear answer for you. And RC3, I'll probably post on IG today. And I have to see about YouTube. Right now, there's not, I haven't seen a lot of entries. I haven't seen more than one, actually. So for the people who don't understand, I did a Saturday sessions video last Saturday. And what I'm going to do from now on with every Saturday session that I do, if you're not familiar, those are my interactive scratch sessions. So I'm scratching over a beat in those videos, and I scratch for a while, then I stop, and then you can just scratch at home, then I go again. So if you're not familiar with that, let me know, then I'll, or no, you just go to my channel, DJ TLM TV, and check out Saturday sessions. But from now on, anytime I do a Saturday sessions video, I now also invite the more advanced scratch DJs to record themselves scratching over that beat and send me a video. And under a minute, preferably even a little bit shorter. Send me a video, and if there's dope ones in there, I'm going to post those on my socials, like IG, YouTube, just to give like just DJs in the community some shine. But this is for the little bit more advanced DJs. So for the beginner DJs, it's not for you yet. So I think that's what RC3 was referring to. But as of to now, it's been pretty quiet. Louis, what up? I see you. SQ Squad, what's going on? I like doing this. Yes. Yeah, so big time. That's not fair. Like you said, you got an NS7 and you can do every scratch. I don't count like Rain 12 or NS7. I don't count those as controllers. Those are basically turntable substitutes because you're right. You can do anything with the NS7, but that's because it's not. I mean, it is a controller, of course. Technically, it is. It controls your DJ software, but those motorized platters, those 7-inch platters, feel so freaking good and they react like turntables. So that allows you to do so much more with them compared to a controller with just a standard jog wheel that doesn't move. NS7 is super dope. Okay, so Mixmaster G is in here, dope. And let's see. Um, yeah, Mixmaster G, about your Denon story. I mean, I know where you're coming from, and I know that there's history there. But even though that's true about the software, most DJs I talk to did not notice that or care about that. All we saw was the incredible amount of features that the device had compared to a CDJ. So I don't know if it's really that they came too soon and that a lot of people were disappointed and moved away. But I don't know. You might be right about that. But like the DJs I spoke to, we were all like, yo, this is like a CDJ, but it has the controls to hit your cue points and loops and everything in the way we do on other controllers and on the performance mixers. So it didn't hurt us, our opinion about it in that way. So I think it's worth noting that Pioneer did stand still on their battle mixer range 5 years with the S9. Mm, okay, okay. So here's the question to you then. If you look at the market for scratch mixers, how many players, like real players, are there? And did Pioneer have the number one position there? So, off the top of the head, if I have to think of the brands that I associate with, like the scratch mixers, we have Pioneer and Rain. Newmark had a couple of mixers. Now, of course, Reloop now has their Elite, but like when the S9 came out, there was really nothing like it. Not really. And then you had basically your Rain 72 and your S9. There was not a lot you could really compare to that. So there was not a lot of motivation to all of a sudden like have a totally new one. I mean, they could ride that wave. And I mean, I'm one of the people who is still like really happy with that S9. I have no complaints about it. Now, of course, when the S11 came out, I was like, okay, an S9 with a screen. I want that. And I would like that, but I'm still using that S9 like crazy. And I don't know. I don't think that really hurt Pioneer in any way. They still have that position on lock that they have. So that's a little bit different compared to some of the other things. But and I mean, like I said, like if they stand still, I mean, they have to stand still for a very long time. I mean, the CDJs didn't move that fast either. Pioneer takes their time, and they're in a position that they could do that. But now, I think there's going to be a little bit more motivation because of the other brands that have been innovating. So that's a good thing, and hopefully that gets all the brands on their like edge of their seats and makes everyone sharper. At the end of the day, the consumer, us, we benefit from that. But they don't have to move too fast. Yeah, Mixmaster G, you only get one chance to get a first to make a first impression. It's true, but it's not. You like that? Yes, I agree. A first impression is really important, and a first impression can ruin things, but people forget easily, bro. Like a brand can come out with something that's totally crap, but if they come back later with something that's really good, it's not like no one's gonna look at it. So I mean, it's a very that saying has been around for a very long time. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and yes, technically that's true because that is the first impression. You made it. You can't make that again. But that doesn't mean that if the first impression is bad, that that's the end of it. That's not how it works. Not really. or the first impression has to be so bad, so terrible, that you're like, okay, I never want to deal with that company again. I don't think a bad product, and I'm not calling it a bad product. I mean, I understand your story about they came out too soon when the software wasn't ready, but I'm not calling that like a total bust. Like again, like I said, that goes for me and a lot of DJs I spoke to who, when the first time they saw it and tried it out, they were not like, this is bad. Not at all. They were pretty positive. So, yeah, I don't think that's the case here. But even if that first impression was perfect and the software was all the way ready, they still would not have overtaken Pioneer, because something like that just doesn't happen overnight. Not even with a great device. Frank White, what up? Thanks for the follow. I can tell the Denim Prime numbers are much lower than they would have been due to the delivery problems. Yeah, I mean, those are things that can affect brands as well. And that happens, especially in the last year. It happened with a lot of brands, like delivery problems due to COVID, due to the pandemic, like with overseas manufacturers or fabrics where parts were made that a lot of delays happened. So that's, yeah. I mean, last year was just a year, a different type of year. I think we can agree on that. Let's see. Reloop 8000, Rain 72 Mark II, Artefon needles. Nice. Yeah, for the for transferring your vinyl, you got a great set there. The Rain 72 will give you good audio quality. Your Artefon needles, if they're still in good condition, they're going to be just fine. Yeah, I named Audition. Mixmaster G says the same thing here, like Audition to Wave, and then iTunes to make high quality MP3. Is iTunes the best for that? For that conversion? Like, you're the conversion guy, so I'm definitely going to believe you. And do a lot of people still have iTunes though? So Audition, is Audition not good enough to transfer to convert from Wave to MP3? Let us know. That's an interesting one. I'd like to know that. I run my turntables. That's Das Hog. What up? Turntables through a preamp into my computer. Capture the audio on the computer with a DAW. Cool Edit Pro. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time, man. Cool Edit. I used that for a long time before there was a Pro. Like, Cool Edit, that was the thing for a while. Save the audio file in WAV format and then compress to FLAC. Okay. Hey, Damianito, what's going on, man? Salute, brother. And yes, Mixmaster G, or no, I don't think so. You're saying that the Restream bot is not forwarding our chat, so DJ TLM is not seeing it. I mean, I'm seeing your everything you post. So where were you on first? On YouTube? Is it not bringing the YouTube anymore? You are right. I'm not seeing the Restream bot anymore. I didn't even notice that. I was just reading all of the comments. I had Restream bot in the beginning, and now it's not here. That's another thing. That's my issue right now with Restream. I can give it another try. So Restream was not allowing me to log in anymore. I talked to their support, and then when I used Chrome and I used it in incognito mode, then it would work. Let me just try that here on the side again. I had Restream bot when we were first going. That's why I didn't even notice that it's gone now. So that's good to see. I need to fix that. So for the people on YouTube, I saw your comments in the beginning. That's why I didn't notice they weren't coming through anymore. I'm not looking at where it's coming from. I'm just reading comments and answering questions right now. So I'm going to try this on the side again. Or what I can also do, that's even easier for now. Let me just open a YouTube tab on the side. See what's going on there. So my YouTube people, my apologies for that one. I did not notice that at all. Here we go. Okay. Cliff Platt, what up? Christopher, what up? Leon, who else? Noah, what's going on? NYC Uggs, what's going on? Chris on the mix. Gotta give all of y'all a shout out for a sec. Swag Sage, what up? Donald Buckingham, what's up? Philip Rangus. See, I see Sven here, and I had Sven in the other chat first. So maybe some people switched, and that's why I didn't notice. Jazzy Lamel, what up? Marius. What up, Michelle? I need a crates or SDK T. Let me turn the cam back on. Well, MIC, those are available in my store. When's your birthday, man? I might hook you up. Oh. Why am I turning record on? That's not good. And I have Marius Plavecki. What's going on? See, Art of PHN, I see you here as well. And I already saw all your other stuff. So, okay. So I guess today is just a day of technical difficulties. First OBS, and then the restream stopped doing what it was doing. See, I see it here. Indeed, it was working up to a certain point. Fabrice, what up? And then it was not working anymore. I see love from India, from Ragine. Might be mispronouncing that name, by the way. So, okay. Heine Klopper, what up? So Restream just did it for a second and then it stopped. Okay, crazy. Really weird. Love Forever is here. I saw you before. There's that Mac Joseph question. I did get that one. Really weird. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth. Timothy Dwight, what's going on? I'm in a bit of a pickle. I've been a Traktor user for a long time. I currently have turntables and a Z2, which has its age. Yeah, that's been around for a while. I only got to use it once. I really liked it though. I'd consider new gear. I'm not sure whether I want to keep sticking with Traktor. I like Traktor, but I've been looking at Pioneer, DDJ 1000, or Z2 with CDJ. Consider going with Rekordbox or Serato for chains. A lot of options out there. My thing, and I say this every time with Traktor, is if you're going to use Traktor, you got to make sure you use Native Instruments hardware. Just from my experience. I know people have different experiences, but from what I've noticed, that is the best thing. Now, if you use the Z2 as your interface, then you're going to be okay with that. And I think if you use that, for instance, with CDJs, it works just fine. But I think it all depends on how bad you want to stick to Traktor. Because if you want to go for a DDJ 1000, even though you can probably map everything, it's not going to work the same way. You'd be better off using a DDJ 1000 with Rekordbox for sure. Or an SRT with Serato. So it all depends. If you really enjoy Traktor, then I would have something Native Instruments of Native Instruments hardware in there. So if you're going for the Z2 CDJ combo, that could work. All right, let's see. Okay, I see a question and I see an answer already. The Mixed Chemist asked, why does the needle on coded record make a loud noise? And then Mixmaster G says that differs from setup to setup, but mine are indeed audible too. It's the tone that's used for DVS. Yeah, that's the thing. There is an actual tone on that vinyl. The vinyl is not silent. So if you play it in phono mode, you're going to hear that beep. You can also get that as an audio file. I used to carry that around on a flash drive when I was using CDJs with Serato and the HID mode wasn't working well. I would just use them as normal players, and then I would have the time code as a file, like a 15-minute file, on my flash drive, and that's just a beep. So sometimes when you listen to vinyl and the needle's on, even when the sound is off, you can hear the sound on that record. That beep does the same thing. So that's why you hear it. All right. So I'm going to skip to YouTube for a while to go through some of the things that I've not seen here. Do breakbeats over 140 BPM belong in a hip hop set, or is that just for UK garage jungle sets? Well, most of my UK garage definitely isn't 140. Jungle definitely is. So belong in a hip hop set. So if you're gonna play a hip hop set, meaning that you're gonna play hip hop, then breakbeats. I mean, you could actually still do them in there. Like I'm of the opinion, like you can fit a lot into a hip hop set. Like, of course, most of it would have to be like just hip hop tracks, but you can always add some subtle extras to it. I think it depends mostly on your crowd. If you're dealing with a crowd and you can tell that they are really not into anything out of the box, basically, and I don't want to define an entire category of people, so I don't want to say corny backpack hip hoppers because to me, like, there's nothing negative about backpack and boom bap. I love it, but within that range of people, you had certain people who would consider themselves some sort of purist, even though they were totally not. And I mean, I've played at parties where you had some people like that. And as soon as you did anything they felt was not hip hop, then they would feel that you were not playing the right way. Even for instance, if I would add like a couple of soul tracks, some essential like soul tracks that have been sampled to death in hip hop, have that vibe, they'll be like, oh, that's not hip hop. And then I'm like, oh, you really don't understand hip hop because that's how hip hop actually started. So first hip hop DJs didn't have rap records. They were playing like soul and funk. So that's why I call them like they're fake purists. But if you're dealing with an audience and you can tell like, okay, these people are not gonna be able to handle it if I add extras, you might want to skip it. Or you could be, and a lot of times I'm like that, you could be like, yo, this is who I am and what I do and still do it. But it all depends. Like if I know I'm going to just aggravate 5 people, then I don't care. If I know like half of the crowd is not going to like what I'm going to do next, I might skip it because I don't want to lose half of that crowd. I'm there to make sure they have a good time. So, but like a lot of things go though. A lot of things can be done. If you do it the right way, you make sure you have the right tracks ready after that to go from those break beats back to some sort of hip hop. Uh-huh. So, Love Forever, you asked any favorite controller. If I look at normal controllers, like controllers with non-moving jog wheels, I'm still a big fan of the DDJ 1000. I really, really like that controller. If it's a controller with moving platters, I'm more inclined, if it's an all-in-one unit, to actually go still for a Numark NS7 Mark III or the Rain 12s. That's my suggestion, but it all depends. Like if you're looking for like an entry level, smaller controller, that's a totally different story. So Mac Joseph says Denon gives you the choice of no more laptop, and you can put the hard drive in the unit now, plus Wi-Fi, plus analyze on the fly, no laptop needed. Yeah, man. I mean, those are great options. I like the standalone players a lot. I think they're really dope. Had to come back and say, Donald Buckingham, it was very long ago. I have virtual DJ and a mini desktop boom speaker. Okay, and DJ Harmonics is just because you shared your knowledge and experience and gave back. I now have an American Audio VMS 5 and a pair of JBLs. Done a few public gigs. Dope, dope. And live streams on FB. How's that working? Are you able to stay on FB? I don't even stream there anymore, except for like a stream like this. But like music streams, I don't even try on Facebook anymore. Hunter20, do you have any additional advice for live streaming? I see you have a video from 5 months ago. I actually talked about it in a video I posted on YouTube yesterday. I think that video did not roll out the right way because it has like an incredibly low amount of views. So I don't think people actually saw it. But I released a podcast clip yesterday about live streaming. So that's on my channel. But it all depends on what type of info you're actually looking for, because the video I posted yesterday basically just talks about my vision about live streaming now, like how it was last year, what I'm going to do this year. Like, yeah, it's been 23 hours. It has 370 views. I think this video got somehow overlooked and people didn't see it was posted. So maybe that has some info for you, what you want to talk about. Yeah, just check that video first. I think that's my best advice for now. Also Periscope, but Periscope is ending March 31st. Yep, I saw that as well. And I don't know what they're going to do next, because I saw something there about Twitter Live. So I don't know if Twitter is like taking over what Periscope did. We'll have to wait and see. Until Periscope leaves, I'm still very happy that it's there. You can catch my video replays from my Crates live streams there. They're on, and they work well. So yeah, to me, it's a shame that it's gone, because that was the only place I could send people for the video replay. But that's why I do the audio replay. Oh, by the way, the audio replay didn't make it yesterday. They are on today for episode 9 and episode 10 from last Monday. They are on my Mixcloud right now. Let's see what else. What's the best needle for scratching? I don't think there's one best needle. I think people have their personal preferences. A lot of people used to really like the Shure M447, and some people want to stick to that, so now they use those Jyco replacement needles. I used the M447 for a long time, really liked it. I also used Ortofon for a long time. Still use it, actually. A couple of different ones from their line. The S120 is the one I currently use, but I'm really looking forward to test Ortofon's new VNL vinyl needles. I think they're going to be good as well. I mean, Ortofon has good needles, so those are the ones. Like the M447 was really steady. Those S120s and other Ortofon needles are really steady as well. Really like those. Matt C, what up? What's the best way to clean the time code vinyl or dust while playing out without getting magnetic issues? I'm the wrong person to ask that, because I don't pay any like attention to doing that the right way. I mean, you have actual like vinyl cleaners that you could use to wipe your vinyl and keep it in the best condition. Most of the times I'm using my t-shirt, and I mean, I've never had like magnetic issues though. So most of the times I'll just pick that vinyl up and I'll rub it right there. I mean, some purists are probably like, "Oh, you can't do that," but yes, I've always done that, and it hasn't really hurt anything. I got Concord needles. Sometimes they miss what's the best, longest lasting needle. Again, I'm not the right one, because I wreck needles and I use needles way beyond their actual limit. I use them too long, so I don't really pay attention to when they wear out. And now I'm totally the wrong person to ask, because I haven't touched the needle in a very long time due to phase. That being said, this year, every last Crates of the month is going to be an all vinyl edition. So I need to go through this, because there's no order right now, and make a selection. So the last Crates of this month is going to be all vinyl, and that's going to be the case every month of the year. The last edition of the month, the last episode of the month will be all vinyl. So before that time, I'll have to actually check if my needles are still alive and kicking, and see if they still work. Mo Berry, what's going on? Thank you for that subscription. I appreciate that. Very dope for the continued support. Watson Bobby is in here. What's going on? Who else is in here? If the artist hits you, okay, that's about if you ever receive like tracks from artists. So, uh, Toucha, I hope it's Toucha, says if the artist hits me up beforehand and lets me know about that track, then send it to me. I'll listen to it and like it. I will definitely play it. If they just run up to me when I'm a DJ event, it won't get played. Now, of course, like if you're playing at like artists out there, even though in the past this used to be a thing where artists would actually just walk up to the DJ booth and come out. Like I've had this happen like in vinyl days, like even like come up to the DJ booth like with their new song, not understanding that as a DJ when I'm in the middle of a set, even though I'm playing freestyle, I'm going in a certain vibe. I'm not just gonna take someone's record, a track that I haven't even heard before, and all of a sudden add that to my mix. And in the digital era, it's become even easier. And yes, I've had artists, so it's a good thing you mentioned that. I forgot about that. I have had artists who came up to me with like a digital file, like with a CD, and after that, even with a flash drive, like, yo, man, I have music. I'm like, yeah, that's cool for you, but I'm not gonna play that now. Like as an artist, you do need to realize when a DJ is playing, that DJ is going for something, and if you're following the crowd, you're going with a certain vibe, a flow. You have a certain energy in mind. You're not all of a sudden just gonna play a track that you don't know yourself. If you come up to me with a track while I'm playing and I haven't heard it yet, I don't know what that track is, and I'm definitely not going to spend the time during my set to now take your song, listen to it, because I can't listen to 5 seconds. I have to check the track. For all I know, the first 20 seconds are one way, and then there's a switch and something else happens. I don't know. Or, for all I know, when the hook comes in, that hook has a message in there that is like something totally terrible. I mean, I don't even know what to think of. Just imagine that someone gives me a track, I start to play the track, and when the hook comes in, the hook is like ultra racist, and and now I'm playing that song. That's not going to happen. So do not go up to a DJ while he's playing with your new song. That is not the way to go. Another good suggestion in there is indeed hit the DJ up on social, like, yo, I have music. And some people do that with me in my DMs. Like, they'll contact me on IG and let me know, like, yo, man, this is my name. I have a brand new single. I'm an artist from wherever. I have a new tune. I would really love for you to check it out. And maybe if you like it, you can play it. If they approach me in that way, most likely I will say, cool, here's my email, send me the track. So, Toucher, that's a very good suggestion right there, because then when you receive it, then you already know, like, hey, that's from that artist. You had communication with that artist. So the DMs on IG and other places, that's a good place to start. Now, if you can't contact artists, you can definitely still send it if you have their email address. But with that first contact being made, there's already a connection, and then the DJ is actually expecting a track from you. So that's a very good suggestion indeed. Back to YouTube. All right. I want to get the Pioneer SZ2. I'm currently on the PLX 1000 turntable, so I want the same feel as them from a controller. Do you think it's a good controller? So no, you're not gonna get the same feeling as turntables from a controller without moving platters. So if you get a SZ2, that's a wonderful controller. It's a beast of a unit. A lot of features on there, nice big jog wheels. That will feel totally different than your PLX 1000 turntables. Be aware of that. If you want a controller that feels like your turntables, you will need a controller with moving motorized platters. So then you end up with the Rain 12s. You end up with the NS7s by Numark, the Mark III, most likely. You can go if you're not on Tractor, but if you were on Tractor, you would have the S4 Mark III. And then, of course, you have Denon's 5000 SC5000M, N6000M, even though, like I know from Mixmaster G, the feeling on those 6000Ms is a little off, I believe. But you need a motorized platter to give you that turntable feeling. No other controller can do that. None of the controllers with normal jog wheels will feel the same. So keep that in mind. Now you can still have a great time with the SZ2 or a controller like a DDJ 1000, but it's just a different feeling. How do you know this much music? Do you have a system for learning all this music? I have many tracks where I know they're good, but I don't really know them. I have a lot of songs that I don't know well. So even if I look at the vinyl part, I have the vinyl collection, but when I used to play my vinyl, first off, there was always going to be like at least that one crate or two crates with the what I call usual suspects. So those are the tracks. I played hip hop R&B parties. I knew exactly what the crowd was expecting. So you have your two crates. I used to bring like 3 to 4 crates to every gig. So two crates that are filled with songs that I not only know very well, but are songs that will most likely work well. That's why I call them the usual suspects. Those are like the main hits. Then I would have 2 more crates with songs that I would go through my vinyl and run into songs like, dope, I want to play that tonight because I knew this party was more like this, that party would be more like that. Find songs that would fit. So you still pick out the songs that you know. But there's a lot of vinyl in here that I know but not know well because maybe I heard it in the record store, then I bought it, but it wasn't a record that I played in the beginning at clubs. And at a certain point, I didn't have a lot of time to like listen to my vinyl at home. And then the record kind of gets lost. Or you buy an album, but you only play a couple of tracks, and the other tracks you don't really know that well. And especially now, with the incredible amount of music that can come to you digitally, it is really, really hard to know all your music. That's why it's important to make sure that your collection is not that big. Now, I'm not talking about your collection overall. You can have a very large music collection, but when it comes to your actual DJ collection, your music collection, that shouldn't be crazy large. Try to keep that a little bit more compact, which is hard to do nowadays. Like if you have a subscription to a record pool and you go online and you log in and they have like 40 to 50 new tracks every day and you download most of that, it's going to be really hard to do that. I had to become more strict with that, really give them that extra listen. Same way I used to do in the record store. You would listen to songs like to make sure. With the record pools, digital record pools, in the beginning, I would listen to a couple of seconds and like, download. And then later on, you find out like, okay, I'm not even playing most of those songs. So it's the larger your collection, the harder it is to know all of the music. It looks like you could play on 10 gigs with complete other music on each gig. If you're talking about the collection here, no, this is not 10 gigs. We can multiply that by a lot. I can play a lot more than 10 gigs with what's here. So if I could only play every record once, yeah, there's still a lot more. So let me see. How much are you actually seeing? So you're seeing that one and this part. Okay, you're seeing pretty far. So it's a little bit longer than this and another stack higher. But no, this is a lot of gigs. Like if I brought like 3 to 4 crates to my gigs, most of the times I wouldn't even play half of what was there because 3 to 4 crates is way too much for like a normal gig. If we're talking about 6 to 8 hour gigs, yes, then you're going to go through a lot more music. But a lot of times I was playing like 5-hour parties with another DJ. So that's basically like 2.5 hours of my music. So yeah, this could get me a long, long way. All right, switch back and forth again. Let's see what's happening here. DJ Woodchip, what's going on? Kula Soul. The Rain 12s are amazing. Yes, I like them too. Are you still making training for superhero DJs? Great question. Because actually, just I saw a message from them. I haven't talked to them in a long time. No, I've only made one video for superhero DJs. That was it. After that, I continue to work with them. So that's a little different issue. So I have no personal problems with the people behind Superhero DJs. That's not the case. But there was something else that made me decide not to do more videos for them. So who knows? There might be some sort of collaboration in the future. But right now, that's not interesting to me because I still, and that's happening this year, finally. I'm still going to do my own DJ course, and that's way more important to me right now. So no, I haven't done any more than that one. DJ on the ones and twos is in here using Tractor for a while. Made the switch to Serato. Very happy with that. Okay, Wood Chip, keep it rocking. Be joining you your Sunday sessions. Saturday sessions, that is. I'll be streaming on Sundays, but that's a totally different stream. That has nothing to do with DJing and scratching, or not a lot to do with DJing, but nothing with scratching. So Saturday sessions, I'm doing them like bi-weekly. So I did one Saturday, so that means I'm not doing it this Saturday, but I'll be back next Saturday. But you can still check this one. They're online, and I have like 30 more that are online as well. So yeah, you can definitely check those out. See here, TNT Chicago, what up? S9 needs to get that scratch bank. Yeah, that would be cool. Who knows, man? I don't know if I think that could be a possibility. Would be dope, indeed. Yeah, the smart crates alone is worth it. Yeah, I like the smart crates as well. I don't use them as much as I should, but I definitely like them. All right, back to YouTube. I'm going to be switching back and forth. Um, Big T, I don't know how long ago you dropped that on YouTube, but I definitely talked about capturing the sound for. Oh, no. Almost fell for that. No, we talked about capturing the audio from your vinyl, like converting vinyl. So, yeah. How do you capture your sound for streaming? That was the question. So, like I'm doing right now, for instance, I'm actually doing the same thing I do during my Monday crates streams. I go from the mixer, and right now I'm actually using the mixer again. So the S9 is right here. The output from my S9 goes into my ATEM Mini Pro. That's my video switcher that I use when I use the multicams. Now I'm only using one camera right now, but I'm still going into that one and then going either into the computer, or in this case, I'm streaming from that ATEM Mini Pro. But the ATEM Mini Pro also allows me to connect audio. So my mixer is going into my ATEM Mini Pro, and now I'm streaming straight from that. Normally with my crate stream, the audio will also go into the ATEM Mini Pro, and that will be connected to USB to the computer, and then I use OBS. So that is my go-to device. Now, you don't need an ATEM Mini Pro if you're only on one camera. So if you have one camera, you have no need to have a video switcher. Or you would have to want to do things like this. So for instance, I'm only using one camera right now, but if I wanted to, I also have a computer screen here. So if I want to do something on the computer, I'm not doing it right now, but so my mouse can be here as well, I think. There it is. I could do that as well, but I'm not doing anything with the computer right now. So that's only interesting if you want to do multiple angles and stuff like that. Otherwise, if you don't have that video switcher, you would just have to get your sound from your mixer into the computer. And for that, you'll need either just the audio interface, the sound card in the computer, or have an external audio interface. So in my case, if I want to do that, I'll go from the mixer into my Apollo Solo. That's my audio interface. I don't think I can lift it up, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's an audio interface. You need to go into the audio interface to go to your computer, and then in your streaming software, you have to activate that. So that depends on which streaming software you use. But for instance, with OBS, then I would have to add an audio source, select my audio interface, and then it can get the sound from that audio interface, and that is an option as well. So it's not that difficult. Now, there's another option as well could also be done. I could also go from the mixer straight into the camera because the camera has a microphone input as well. The audio is not going to be as good as what I get when I go to the ATEM Mini Pro or to my audio interface, because I can actually still do stuff to the audio, and I can't do that if I'm going straight into the camera. But that is an option as well. So I hope that clears it up. I mean, I'm going to do a full video about this to actually show all of these things, but you have plenty of options when it comes to this. Kelly Kel, what's going on? A happy new year to you. And I use Beats headsets, Solo Wireless, and Mixer or Pro. Okay. When I'm practicing faster scratches, I have difficulty relaxing my arm, and I end up being heavy-handed, so my needle skips. Working on a lighter touch. I mean, it's all practice. It is all practice. I mean, Leon says try baby scratching and slow it down some. I think that's an answer to you as well, Noah. But practice. It's all about practice. I've had plenty of times when I was learning how to scratch that I was being too rough, and then the needle will skip. So I guess you're using real vinyl. You also need to make sure, there goes the camera again. Bring it back. Here we are. Let's see. Not record. Is it going off? Yeah. You also need to make sure that the other elements are correct. So for instance, your vinyl. Your vinyl has a hole in the middle. When you place it on the turntable, if the hole is a little bit too large, you're going to have movement, sideways movement, which is not a good thing when you're scratching. So you want to make sure that that hole in the middle is not too large. So what we used to do is, if we got some new vinyl and you put it on your turntable, you would just jiggle it to see if it had movement sideways. If it had movement, then I would just take any type of stickers, get them through the hole. I can't show you with my hands. Yeah, I have to do that in a video. But did I do that in my Q sticker video? Hold up. While we're at it, I'm gonna look something up on YouTube on my own channel. I did a video a long time ago about cue points on vinyl. How I did cue points on vinyl. It's called using stickers on vinyl, but I'm not sure if I actually show. Look at that young TLM right there. I'm not sure if I show that as well. Let me just see if that is also being shown here. If it's being shown here, I can bring it up, but you can also look for it. So the video on YouTube is called using stickers on vinyl, but I'm not sure if I also do the middle part. Let me see. I'm skipping through it real quick to see if it's in there. No, I think it's just normal cue points. I don't think it's in there. Look, this is the video I've been looking at. I talk about stickers and everything I can do with them, and I show you how to use the stickers as cue points, stickers as a visual aid, but also how to place like stickers in the middle of a vinyl if you want to go straight to a certain point. So if you're using real vinyl, this could be an interesting video if you're into turntablism. But I don't think I actually talk about what I was talking about now, about making that hole in the middle a little bit tighter. But that could be an issue. If your vinyl is a little bit warped, so it's not flat, you're running into the same issue that when you scratch and you apply pressure, the other side comes up a little bit too much, the side that's where the needle is. That could also make your needle skip. It could also be that your needle is a little bit too light, depending on which needle you use. So when I was using Stanton 500 needles, those were not really heavy, and I would actually put a coin on top of my head shell to make them heavier. I was using those needles during DJ battles, and they were just not steady enough. So I wanted to make sure that they had more weight on them, which would make them skip less easily. So I would actually just put a coin on top. and use that, and that would also help. So all of these little things can help, but yes, you can also be too heavy-handed, and then you have to just continue to practice and try to get lighter, to apply less pressure. So there's no special trick for that. That just comes with practice. You get more used to the feeling, and you, at a certain point, adjust. So I'm definitely going to run into that issue when I do my last crates of the month and I do my all vinyl edition, because I use Serato and I have it in relative mode. So even if the needle skips, you don't notice it. The control vinyl I use is pretty steady, so I don't have a lot of issues with it. I know there's going to be plenty of records in here that might not be as steady. If I have enough time, I will try to prep most of my vinyl to make sure that I do what I just talked about. But again, I'm going to be running into a couple of surprises when I play with that vinyl. That is for sure. All right. Christopher, top 5 DJ transitions to master. I like the question. I don't think I can really go deep into that question here. I think that's something that should be done in an actual separate video with examples. Because, I mean, you can talk about DJ transitions, but to talk our way through 5 transitions and still have a clear understanding of what's being said, I think it's better to actually show that in a video. That being said, I would actually have to give it some thought about what top 5 DJ transitions I would name. So yeah, that is something I have to do in a separate video. Let's see. Lavzin is in here. What's going on? Can you make a video about your crate system in your DJ software? How do you organize your music? Yeah, I've talked about it before, and I can definitely do that again, even though it is still a work in progress. Currently, I have a couple of folders in there, and I'm not really going to focus on that in the coming time because I'm not thinking about club gigs. So most of the organizing I'm doing from now on is actually finding songs that I want to play during my crates episodes. And for instance, on Friday, I'm doing a certified bangers edition, and still figuring out how I'm going to do that, if I'm going to make crates for that, or if I'm going to do that with something like BeatSource and just make playlists online. So I'm not sure yet, but I want to make sure for the live streams, I don't prepare my sets, but I do want to have at least most of the music that I'm going to play or want to play in a folder. That makes it a lot easier for me to get around instead of just having all of my folders there. What happens a lot when I play with my normal folders is you tend to go for, again, your usual suspects, the tracks that you normally run into. So for instance, on Monday for crates, I had my special part where I played songs that sampled Kenny Burke's track, Rising to the Top. Now, that took like an hour and a half from the show. I had a folder with other tracks that I found that day. I was just going through my music collection. So not my DJ folders, but my music collection. And I have plenty of albums and folders in there with songs that I haven't looked at in a while. So that's how I ran into all of those songs that I used to play on vinyl. And I was like, this song is coming. This song is coming. That made me have even more fun than usual during the stream because I really, really, really had a good time doing that. So yeah, I can definitely do a video about that, about the crate system. But I have it divided into, of course, genre. That's the thing for me. So I have hip hop, I have R&B, I have my New Jack Swing, I have like dancehall, and I have like party breaks, a folder called Party Breaks, and then I have a turntablism scratch sound folder. And with hip hop, I have a couple of different folders that basically cover an era, which is too big. I think I have like the entire 80s, the entire 90s, the entire 2000s, and I would have to make a new one for the 2010s and the second one. I don't even have that. But I don't have, like, some people will have like elaborate schemes with all sorts of folders and genres and subgenres, and then within that folders with different BPM. That's a lot. I prefer to also have a couple of smart crates in Serato that you just give rules and tell like, okay, everything with a BPM between this and that, I want to appear in that folder. That is a great tool to have as well. Especially if you tag all your music, then you could do like a rule with BPM and a rule that if it includes this or that tag, and then you get all of the music that will fit your description within one folder. I'll do a video about that. Um, let's see. Is Stream Elements free? Yes, it is. So I'm using Stream Elements with OBS Live, which is OBS but with Stream Elements in there. I just said yes, but is that a fact? Yeah, yeah, it is. That's I'm getting confused with Restream. I have a Restream subscription, but Stream Elements was free. What else? Twitch again. It's happening here. So guys, if I miss certain things because I'm going to scroll through, you know what it is. If it's taking too long, you can ask a question again, of course. And I'm looking separately at both now. Oh, damn, that means I'm not including Facebook. Yo, people on Facebook, if you're still watching, I apologize for not seeing your comments. So for people tuning in for the first time, normally Restream, which I use to stream to all these different platforms, will send all of the chat into one chat box, but it also sends the messages to the other chat boxes so we can all see what goes on every platform. And that is not happening right now. And I totally forgot. I'm also streaming on Facebook. So people on Facebook, I'm very sorry for not reacting to you if you're still here. Yep. Okay, let me see. Who's here? Venencia. 14 minuten geleden. Okay. Maybe you're still here. Happy New Year. Ratu, what up? What up? Large holes, no good. Okay, that's from now. Cool. Ratu, sorry for not seeing you sooner. So let me answer your question straight away. Does Magwell fader make a big difference? Compared to what? Like the Magwell faders in the Pioneer mixes, I mean, I really like them. The Magwell, the normal fader is nice. The Magwell Pro, Fader Pro, that's in like the S9. I really, really like that. So it all depends on what you compare it to. Some DJs will prefer the crossfader on, for instance, a Rain or Rain mixer or other mixers. Mark Green, what up? So only a couple people here, but yeah, I still want to make sure I tune in every now and then to see what's happening here. See, now I have to go through 3 different ones, and that's all because Restream is not doing its normal thing. It's not letting me log in. So I gotta wring their necks a little bit. Beats by Pound VST plugin, good. Haven't tried it yet. I have not tried it yet. Wait, which one is that? Hold up. Didn't I just see that name? Who's that by? The Beats by Pound. Can let me know real quick. Who's that by? Who makes that plugin? I think no. Okay. So let me know who makes that. The Beats by Pound. Mike F. Let me know. Let me know. All right. So Michelle wants to know, I'm considering adding a merch store for the podcast platform. What made you pick Teespring? So to be clear, I use a different company actually on my website. That's the company I've been using for quite a long time, called Printful. And actually, I'm pretty happy with Printful. The Teespring thing was something I added later because of their YouTube integration. So that allows you to see those tees underneath all of the YouTube videos. And I thought that would be pretty cool to have. But I think I would still prefer Printful. So it all depends on if you want it on a YouTube channel and you want to have that integration. I think that works with Teespring and one other company. But otherwise, Yeah, I'm pretty happy with Printful. I like the quality of their shirts. Teespring I like as well. Printful just has a couple different options that I like that Teespring doesn't have. So that's why I prefer them. So the shirts on my site are from Printful. The shirts on YouTube are from Teespring. I try different companies every once in a while just to see, because I know you have to test. I've used the company before and got a shirt and it was like the most horrible shirt ever. So I need to know that. Otherwise, I'm selling something that's absolutely horrible. You don't want that to happen. So that was basically it. Mike F says Studio Linked. So Studio Linked is the name. Oh, let me look that up real quick. Does anyone know the Beats by Pound plugin, or has anyone used it in the chat? Because I haven't used it yet. So let me know, especially on YouTube, because Mike F is asking on YouTube. But otherwise, I can relay your answer. Custom plugins. I have not seen this one before. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Studio Link there. Wait, that's on eBay? No, no, no. I want the website. Is there not a website here? Why is it checking my browser before I can go? No, I don't want that either. Okay. I do see a couple of reviews online, so I would need to check that. No, I don't know it, so I can't help you. So if we get any answers in the chat, then I'll make sure to let you know. Resending Black Gold and Black Backbeat Records still cooking. Actually, I don't know right now. I don't know. Like with the pandemic and stores closing, I actually don't know who survived and who hasn't. I can imagine it could be pretty hard for some people. Superior, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Yeah, one. See, that's also a thing I liked about Restream. Restream would add a timestamp so you could see how late someone would post in the chat. Right now, I cannot see when people leave it. I can see the order, but yeah. Wait, Mixmaster G, you gotta elaborate on that one. Coin on Headshell got you fired once. You gotta tell us, man, why? Or let me ask first: were you using your needles or the club's needles? And then let us know why. Yeah, OG Sumo vibe, man. The good old Stanton 500. Yeah, that's a classic. I think I still have mine. I mean, they don't work anymore, but I think I kept a couple. All right, back to here. Gonna move it around. Shanae Wells on Facebook as well. What's up? G the DJ, what's up? Okay, Noah, you've been using the colored circle stickers. Yeah, yeah, man. I actually in the video that I talked about, I used some of those as well. What tracking weight would you consider as too light for scratching? Ooh, I always had my tracking weight like on the heaviest setting. Like I was brutal with that. I just wanted to have it more just heavier. So I would have the weight on. In some cases, with some turntables, you would actually take it off and put it on in reverse because it would add more of the weight to a certain side. I think. Like I would not look at like numbers on that. It would be like the heaviest setting. That was my thing. DJ on the ones and twos. What's the best Serato setup for Rain 12 Mark II and S11 DVS or internal mode? Wait. When you're using the Rain 12s, you're on controller, so that's not DVS mode. That is just internal, right? Or am I freaking out? Or am I? I haven't had my. I had my Rain. I've had my Rains connected like a month ago. I don't even remember. I think I have mine on internal. I think I have mine on internal. But don't they have to be on internal? They're just controllers. They're not. They don't send a signal. Like they don't have like a time code coming from them, so it's not DVS. Or am I going crazy now? Auto setup configured it to Serato USB internal mode. Yeah, I can imagine that the Rain, uh, um, the mixer will have DVS or Serato USB, but okay, MK2, yeah, but the M. Oh, okay, I missed that. I missed that. How does that work though? Does it have the control vinyl signal in there as well? So when you turn that on, it sends a control signal. And why would that be better? Okay, Mixmaster G, I want that. You're okay. Actually, a special set of needles that were labeled scratch needles by me, bought by the club, but used apart from the normal needles. Talking early 1984. And the club I was spinning was not that high on mixing scratching. This was a club where some of the DJs still announced the records. Wow. Okay. So they were just not ready for that at all. Okay. So was it just the coins that got you fired or the fact that you were actually also scratching? Yeah, that's crazy though, man. That's crazy. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, that's the thing because I have to be honest. Like a lot of times with the Mark Twos in the last year, I haven't paid that much attention to the tech. So different tech, I definitely took a look. I didn't take a good look at like the Mark II when it comes to the 72 and 12s. So I did not know about that DVS, and I definitely have to now do my research to see that in action and see if there's a clear difference then, and why that would be a good thing. When the manager saw scratch head shell on the coin, he fired me for that. Oh wow, yeah, yeah. Some people weren't ready, especially in '84. Here, I guess in the Netherlands. Yeah. All right. Davis, what up? Is it a must? Is it a must to scratch as a DJ in a club? No. Or should I use a flow when mixing music? Scratching is never a must. It just isn't. I love scratching. It is not a must at all. I think it's a great skill to add to your skill set so you can use it as extra flavor in a subtle way. When you're playing in a club, you're there to entertain people, play music for them. You're not there to give them a scratch show unless you are a DJ who's known for that and the club is filled, the venue is filled with people who bought a ticket to see you do that. Otherwise, scratching is just a nice extra to have. And for certain genres, it would be something you would maybe add like once as a special gimmick. Of course, if you're playing hip hop and R&B, it is more normal to have it in your skill set. But no, you do not need to do it. It's not a must. Jazzy Lamel, let's see. I have a question. I want to get the Pioneer SZ2. Wait a minute, I already answered that question, and I just see it pop up on YouTube now. Uh, I already talked about that question, so I don't know why that's coming up now. Okay. Do you think that the Pioneer DDJ SR2 is a good controller? I've never used the SR2. I've reviewed the SR when it first came out, and I liked it. So I assume 2 is also okay, but I haven't used it. I want to see. Really, that got marked as spam in the chat? That's not necessary. Let me, boom, bring that in. Millie Milik, I see you. But is that a question? How get money from some business? I don't know. Back to YouTube. Back to Twitch, I mean. Yeah. Are there no videos online about that HID or DVS for the Rain 12 twos? I mean, I'm not the person to ask because I haven't tested them, but I don't know. Have people tested that yet? I can't imagine that there's no videos. There must be videos. All right, let's see. Personal preference, actually, ones and twos. HID is slightly different. Actually, now that you say it, I remember hearing Cleveland Terry talk about it, but I kind of came in halfway through a conversation. So I think I didn't really understand what he was talking about, but he was talking about that. But I don't know. I think he had a preference for one. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk about that. Okay. Mm, yeah. Slightly different, but it's perfectly integrated with the software, so no issues. Works for Jazzy Jeff. Yep. Do you have suggestions for a record pool with Dutch hip hop? No, I don't think they're really there. Uh, Look, if you're, especially you are in the Netherlands, I think the best thing to do is just to contact the labels. There's a couple of labels out there. You know which labels there are here. Like, of course, you have some indie type artists, but most people here will either belong to one of the big ones, so it's going to be like Top Notch or Noah's Ark, but they're basically in the same boat. Like, for instance, I'm on a Top Notch mailing list, so every week I receive an email with their new releases and the download links. So I would say just contact them, send them an email, like let them know, hey, I'm a DJ. Is there any way that I can get on your mailing list? Like, they'd be stupid not to. They want to get their music out there. And if it's like artists that don't have big labels, I can only imagine that they would be happy to hear you, that you want to play their songs. So no. And even if there would be a record pool that would have Dutch hip hop, I can only imagine that it's only going to be like a couple of tracks in there, like one or two, because they have like some sort of international sound to them. So that's it. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of. Just contact them. I mean, it's a small country. We're not talking about a lot of labels. And if you get on those, if you get on their mailing lists, then you're basically good to go. All right, one more time back to Facebook. Let's see. Okay, so Shanae on Facebook says, I have the DJI SR2 controller and I think it's great. Yeah, and I can imagine. I mean, the SR was definitely dope. So I cannot see a Mark II being worse. I can only see that there might be like slight improvements. Damn. I had tea and I forgot all about my tea. This is going to be some cold tea right now. It is what it is. I'm still going to enjoy my tea, especially when you drink your tea from a mug like this. That is iced tea right now. Wow. Yeah, okay, so CT reviewed it. Yeah, and there's more info. Cool. Yeah, man. See, D boy, you know exactly where you need to be. Now, actually, you probably, or if you have their contact, you could, but most likely you need some other person at the label. But yeah, man, I mean, like most of the music comes from there. That's just a fact. Small country, not a lot of labels here. Different compared to the States. Like if you're in the US, you have a lot of major labels, but you have so many like smaller labels that still have like a nice amount of artists. You have to reach out to a bunch of them. All right, what's the time? It's 9, almost 9:30. I'm about to call this a wrap for the day. Uh what? Okay, you wanted a link to. I think the stream doesn't allow links. Well, okay, but DJ Tech Tools has a good review when it comes to the Rain 12 Mark Twos. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check Cleveland's video as well. All right, that's a good one. So let me know. Do you wanna? Shall we join Cleveland while we're at it? I believe he has a conversation with DJ Ninja right now. So we could do a raid there and check that out. Or are you in for music? Do you want music instead? Let me know in the chat. That's just for Twitch, by the way. We cannot do that on YouTube or Facebook. So let me know. What shall we do? Which way shall we take it? Shall we go music or more DJ talk? And I think the answer most likely has to be DJ talk because that's what you're in here for right now. And like I said, Cleveland Terry should be on right now. Let me see. Is he already on? Because he was going to have DJ Ninja on. I don't know what they're going to talk about, but they should be on there right now. Uh, Wait, Mixmaster G says you forget Tweak Music Tips. What did I forget? I remember the name. What they did? What do they do? What did they do again? Or do you mean that they're on Twitch and that they're on right now? Let me know. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Still, most likely, I would probably raid Cleveland Terry, just for the fact that he hooked me up with a raid this Monday, and I appreciate that support, and I always want to make sure I give back. One more on Facebook. Cottle, what up? Thank you for all the video. Do you think that turntablism has been evolving? What is missing in the mixes 20 years ago compared to now? Well, turntablism evolving. I mean, there goes the camera again. So that's how I can track that we're going a half hour every time. All right. Yeah, I mean, you evolved, I guess, because over the years, new techniques were added. And especially if you take a look at what happens during, for instance, Red Bull 3 style, how creativity has evolved, even though not all of that is turntablism. So it depends on how you look at it. If we're talking about turntablism strictly as scratching, beat juggling, just using that turntable as an instrument, then yes, we have seen more techniques being added. If you take it beyond that realm and you look at overall creativity through technology, then it has evolved, but it's hard for me to just say like what was missing. I mean, we have different options now that we just couldn't have then, mostly due to technology. So yes, it has. Like for instance, just to take it on a tech level, if you take a look at DJs like Kipski, who have now moved on to syntablism, where they're using turntablism combined with actual synthesizers, and they're making sounds but also manipulating them with their turntables. If you haven't seen that before, make sure you check out Kipski syntablism. So yes, we see it evolve like that. But then again, I don't miss anything about mixes 20 years ago because that was what the time was, and it fits the time frame. So it's going to be different in different times. Yeah, that. All right, let me hit. Let me take that one out. Take that one out so we can get to it. And let me set the raid for Cleveland Terry in the chat here. Dope. I'm seeing the chat rules. Don't do that. Yeah, okay, I got it. It's telling me the chat rules. Cool. No, not rain. Raid. So I'll be back next Wednesday for STK Live, and it should be without the technical difficulties. I got to make sure I check OBS before I go live on Friday because I don't want this to happen during a mix stream. So I'll be back. I'll be here Friday with Certified Bangers, so I'm mixing. I'll be back on Sunday with Plugging In. That's going to be all about plugins and music and editing, stuff like that. And Monday, I'll be back with Crates. And Wednesday, I'll be back with a new STK Live. So that's it. THT, man. Doei. Vuil. Let me hit that raid. Set that up. People on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. People on Facebook, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna make sure Restream is up to speed next time, so we just have the entire chat working again because it is not working. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in and also helping each other out. Really, really like seeing that. All right, I'm out. We're gonna raid Cleveland for now, and see you next time. Boom.